And Charles, we're just gonna jump right in, man, and go to what I think is the big film this weekend. Of course, that is F1, sports drama directed by Joseph Kosinski, with a screenplay written by Aaron Kruger from a story by the two, and it's based on the Formula One Championship created in collaboration with FIA, its governing body. Now, this film stars, of course, Brad Pitt in the lead role alongside Idris Elba, Kerry Condon, Tobias Menzies, and Javier Bardem. And the film pretty much premise, Charles, is that Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt, is a veteran race car driver who suffers injuries in a severe crash decades earlier. While he still races in other circuits, the crash forced him to retire from Formula One racing and led to years of odd jobs and gambling addiction. He scores a big win in another car series, and his old friend Ruben Cervantes, played by Javier Bardem, a Formula One team owner and former teammate, tracks him down and asks him to come out of retirement and drive the final 9 races of the season for his APX Grand Prix team alongside a British rookie prodigy, Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris. And Charles, I will lead off on this one, man. Um, it's funny. I was sitting at the screening for this, and I thought about all the race car movies. I thought back as far as Le Mans and Grand Prix and some of these movies that were made in the 60s and 70s. And most recently with Gran Turismo, right? And
Right.
and I think I deduced that it's really hard to mess up one of these movies, man, unless you've got such bad storytelling. Because even if you don't have a lot of story, just make sure you get the race car pieces right and you can make it work, right? And in this film, what they have is bringing in Kaczynski, the director Joseph Kaczynski, who just came off of Top Gun Maverick, right? And there's a huge amount of mirroring, I will say, that's in these two films, right? Um, that film featured Tom Cruise flying a lot of planes at high speeds. This film features Brad Pitt driving a race car at really, really high speeds. In that film, you had Miles Teller, who was kind of the younger person, who was the son of Goose, who was really running up against Maverick and didn't want to respect him, and they couldn't work together. In this film, you have Damson Idris, who's the young prodigy who runs up with Sonny Hayes, and the two of them don't see eye to eye. In Top Gun Maverick, there's a relational aspect that's not sort of forced, but sort of generally is there. And I forget the actress. I forget the
Carrie
actress.
Condon. Carrie Condon.
Right, and I'm talking about in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, oh,
It was
oh.
the woman. God, I'm looking right at her face. Thin, Megan.
No,
But whatever. No, I'm talking about she made a movie called Megan something about a Marine Corps woman who was training a dog, and a service dog in that film. But she was the love interest in Top Gun Maverick. And then in this one, we have I forget you say Carrie Condon, right? So there are a
right.
lot of similarities.
Jennifer Connelly.
Say it again.
Jennifer Connelly.
Thank you. Almost down to the point where they talked about at the premiere that Tom Cruise actually could have done this film. This was a film that Tom wanted to do, and they didn't work it out. And they got Brad, so it was still the same thing. So all of the comparisons are all same. But I will just say very briefly that this film I thought had a story that worked really, really well. I mean, it's not like it was an original story. You can see where it's going, all the steps along the way of how Brad's character, Sonny Hayes, is kind of like a loner and he's kind of a guy that's doing his own thing and marches to his own beat. It's not about the money for him, it's about the sheer competition of what he wants to do. And he does he's his own man, and initially Pierce, played by Idris Damson Idris, didn't really understand it. But the other part that makes this movie really, really work well is the driving scenes are phenomenal in this movie. And you talking about a movie that's 2.5 hours, And, a lot of times, Charles, we get on here and talk about, sometimes these movies ain't really worth the money, man. Like you could have waited and saw this movie at home, concessions are high. If I'm you this weekend, buy the popcorn, buy the candy, make sure you use the restroom because you don't want to miss any of F1. F1 is hot. F1 is what summer movies should be, right? This is a tentpole movie that leaves it on the screen, right? You get all the money that it costs, the look, the sound, the story, the stars. Brad Pitt is channeling his Robert Redford in this thing.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
mean, he really, because the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, damn, this is the same Brad Pitt from Legend of the Falls and Thelma and Louise. Yes, he's grizzled, he's a vet. He really comes full circle for me in one of the finest performances, I think, of his career. Brad Pitt is phenomenal in F1. And not far behind is Damson Idris, who a lot of people watched him in Snowfall, and we've seen him in some film. Damson Idris might get Black Panther just off the strength of the work that he does in F1. He might be the next Black Panther in the MCU for this. I think personally, and I'll wrap with this, Charles, I think Sinners is the benchmark. Sinners is a platinum film. It's up here. I think F1 to me is the second most enjoyable film I've seen this year. It's not Sinners, but it's really, really good. I gave this movie, we're doing star system. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed F1. Charles, what say you about it?